Welcome back. Today we're diving into something a little different but incredibly useful. 10 weird Amish gardening tricks you'll wish you knew sooner. The Amish are known for living simply, working with nature, and finding smart solutions without relying on expensive tools or chemicals. Their methods may seem unusual at first, but each one is practical, effective, and surprisingly easy to try in your own backyard. From natural pest control to clever ways of boosting soil health, these tips can save you money, reduce waste, and help your garden thrive like never before. Natural pest control methods. When it comes to gardening, one of the biggest challenges is keeping pests away without relying on chemical sprays or expensive commercial products. The Amish are known for using natural, simple, and highly effective methods that work with the environment instead of against it. These strategies not only protect plants but also ensure the soil and surrounding ecosystem stay healthy. By adopting natural pest control techniques, you can save money, reduce waste, and enjoy cleaner, safer produce straight from your garden. Here are some of the most interesting and effective natural pest control methods used for generations. 1. Garlic and pepper spray. A common Amish trick is to create a natural pesticide using garlic and hot peppers. These ingredients are boiled in water and then sprayed directly onto plants. The strong smell and spicy compounds repel insects like aphids, beetles, and caterpillars. It's inexpensive, easy to prepare, and safe for humans and pets. 2. Soap and water solution. A simple mixture of soap and water sprayed onto plant leaves suffocates soft-bodied pests like aphids, whiteflies, and spider mites. This method is gentle enough not to harm plants but strong enough to reduce infestations quickly. It's a cost-effective way to recycle leftover soap scraps and turn them into a powerful garden tool. 3. Planting herbs as repellents. Certain herbs like basil, mint, rosemary, and marigolds are natural insect repellents. The Amish often interplant these herbs among vegetables to confuse pests with strong aromas. Marigolds, for example, deter nematodes in the soil, while basil helps keep mosquitoes and flies away. Companion planting not only protects crops but also adds extra harvest variety. 4. Diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth, made from fossilized algae, is sprinkled around the base of plants to deter crawling insects like slugs, ants, and beetles. The fine powder scratches their bodies, causing them to dehydrate. This natural product is non-toxic to humans and animals but works wonders against unwanted pests. 5. Ashes from the firewood. Wood ashes are another Amish favorite for controlling pests. Sprinkled lightly around plants, ashes deter soft-bodied insects like slugs and snails. They also add a small dose of potassium to the soil, making it a dual-purpose solution that both protects plants and enriches the earth. 6. Beer traps for slugs. Slugs are a notorious problem in gardens, but the Amish often handle them using a clever trick: shallow dishes filled with beer. Slugs are attracted to the yeast in beer, crawl in, and drown. It's a simple, frugal method that can be set up with leftover containers and works overnight. 7. Attracting beneficial insects. Not all insects are harmful. Ladybugs, lacewings, and predatory wasps feed on destructive pests. Amish gardeners encourage these garden helpers by planting flowers like dill, fennel, and yarrow, which attract beneficial insects. This creates a balanced ecosystem where nature keeps pest populations under control. 8. Crop rotation. Instead of planting the same vegetables in the same spot every year, crop rotation helps disrupt pest cycles. Many insects lay eggs in the soil where a specific crop grew. By moving crops around, the Amish reduce the chance of those pests returning to feast on their favorite plants the following season. 9. Homemade vinegar spray. Vinegar, mixed with water, is another natural deterrent for ants and certain beetles. It can also help with weed control when sprayed directly on unwanted growth. This dual-purpose hack reduces the need for chemical herbicides while protecting your crops. 10. Physical barriers. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. The Amish often use row covers, netting, or even handmade wooden frames covered with cloth to shield plants from flying insects. This prevents pests from laying eggs directly on crops while still allowing sunlight and rain to nourish them. Homemade organic fertilizers. Healthy soil is the foundation of any successful garden, and one of the best ways to enrich it is by using organic fertilizers made from items you already have at home. The Amish have long relied on natural methods to feed their crops, avoiding synthetic chemicals and instead turning to time-tested, frugal solutions. These homemade fertilizers are not only cost-effective but also environmentally friendly, ensuring your plants get the nutrients they need without harming the ecosystem. By using kitchen scraps, yard waste, and other natural materials, you can create nutrient-rich boosters that keep your garden thriving season after season. 1. Compost. Compost is often called black gold for gardeners. It's made from decomposed food scraps, leaves, and yard waste, creating a rich, crumbly soil amendment full of nutrients. Adding compost improves soil structure, increases water retention, and provides plants with a steady supply of food. The Amish often keep compost piles near their gardens, layering greens like vegetable scraps with browns like dried leaves and straw. 2. Manure tea. Another traditional fertilizer is manure tea. By soaking well-aged animal manure in water for several days, you create a nutrient-dense liquid that can be poured directly at the base of plants. This provides a quick boost of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the three primary nutrients plants need. It's a simple, natural alternative to store-bought liquid fertilizers. 3. Eggshell powder. Instead of throwing away eggshells, crush them into a fine powder and sprinkle it into the soil. Eggshells are high in calcium, which helps prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. The Amish often scatter crushed shells around plants both as a fertilizer and as a deterrent against soft-bodied pests like slugs. 4. Banana peel tea. Banana peels are packed with potassium and phosphorus, key nutrients for flowering and fruiting plants. By soaking banana peels in water for a few days, you can create a simple fertilizer tea that nourishes your garden naturally. Chopped or blended peels can also be buried directly into the soil near plant roots for slow-release feeding. 5. Wood ash. Wood ash from the fireplace or stove can be sprinkled lightly into the garden to add potassium and trace minerals. It also helps neutralize acidic soil, making it especially useful for crops that prefer balanced pH levels. However, it should be used sparingly to avoid raising soil alkalinity too much. Seed saving and reuse. One of the most time-honored and frugal gardening practices is seed saving. The Amish, known for their self-sufficient lifestyle, rely heavily on this method to ensure their gardens remain productive year after year without the constant expense of purchasing new seeds. Saving seeds is not only cost-effective but also a way to preserve plant varieties that thrive in your local climate. Over time, seeds saved from healthy plants adapt better to your soil, weather, and growing conditions, making them stronger and more resilient with each season. 1. Choosing the right plants. The first step in seed saving is selecting the right plants to harvest from. Always choose the healthiest, most productive plants in your garden, as their seeds will carry those strong traits into the next generation. For example, if you had a tomato plant that produced an abundant crop with little disease, its seeds are ideal for saving. 2. Drying seeds properly. Once seeds are collected, proper drying is essential. Moisture can lead to mold or spoilage, rendering seeds useless. Spread seeds out on a clean cloth or paper towel in a cool, dry place, away from direct sunlight. Some Amish families use wooden trays lined with cloth, allowing air to circulate as the seeds slowly dry. 3. Storing seeds safely. After drying, seeds need to be stored correctly to ensure long-term viability. A simple glass jar, paper envelope, or cloth bag works well, as long as the container is kept in a cool, dark, and dry location. Labeling each container with the seed type and the year harvested makes organization easier and ensures you use the oldest seeds first. 4. Benefits of reuse. Reusing seeds saves money, but it also builds a cycle of sustainability. Many gardeners find that seeds saved from their own crops perform better than store-bought varieties because they are already accustomed to the unique growing conditions of their garden. Over time, This practice leads to stronger plants, higher yields, and less reliance on outside sources. 5. Preserving heritage varieties. Another important benefit of seed saving is the preservation of heirloom and heritage varieties. These plants often have richer flavors, unique appearances, and better nutritional value compared to mass-produced hybrids. By saving seeds year after year, Amish families maintain plant traditions that might otherwise be lost. Companion planting tricks. Companion planting is a gardening method the Amish have used for generations, relying on the natural relationships between plants to create healthier, more productive gardens. Instead of relying on chemicals, this practice makes use of the way certain plants support each other when grown side by side. By carefully pairing crops, you can deter pests, enrich the soil, and even improve flavor, all while making the most out of limited garden space. Companion planting is a simple yet powerful way to let nature do the work, saving both time and money in the garden. 1. Pest control. One of the biggest benefits of companion planting is its ability to keep pests under control. Strong scented herbs like basil and mint can confuse or repel insects when planted near vegetables. For example, basil planted alongside tomatoes helps repel whiteflies and aphids, while also enhancing the flavor of the tomatoes. 2. Soil enrichment. Some plants naturally improve soil conditions for their neighbors. Beans and peas, for instance, fix nitrogen in the soil, which benefits leafy crops like lettuce, spinach, and kale. The Amish often use these natural pairings to keep soil fertile without needing synthetic fertilizers. 3. Space maximization. Companion planting is also about making the best use of garden space. Tall plants such as corn can provide shade for sun-sensitive crops like cucumbers, while ground-covering plants like squash help keep the soil moist and prevent weeds. This balance creates a mini ecosystem within the garden that supports long-term growth. 4. Flavor enhancement. Believe it or not, some plant combinations actually improve the taste of the food they produce. A classic example is planting onions near carrots. The onions repel carrot flies, while the close proximity can enhance the sweetness of the carrots. The Amish have long valued these subtle but effective natural flavor boosters. 5. Trap cropping. Another clever trick involves planting certain crops as sacrificial plants to attract pests away from the main harvest. Marigolds, for instance, can lure harmful insects away from vegetables, acting as a natural trap crop. This ensures that your main plants remain safe and productive without relying on harmful sprays. Soil enrichment with kitchen scraps. Healthy soil is the heart of every productive garden, and one of the most frugal ways to keep it fertile is by reusing kitchen scraps. The Amish have long relied on simple, natural resources to maintain the vitality of their gardens, and leftover food materials play a big role in that process. Instead of throwing kitchen waste away, they see it as a valuable source of nutrients that can be returned to the earth. From vegetable peels to coffee grounds, these everyday scraps can be transformed into powerful soil boosters that improve fertility, structure, and microbial life. By practicing this method, gardeners save money, reduce waste, and create a sustainable cycle where nothing is wasted and everything serves a purpose. 1. Vegetable and fruit peels. Potato skins, carrot tops, banana peels, and apple cores are all full of essential nutrients like potassium, phosphorus, and calcium. When buried directly in the soil or added to compost, these scraps slowly break down and release their minerals, giving plants a steady source of nutrition. Banana peels, in particular, are prized for their high potassium content, which promotes flowering and fruit development. 2. Coffee grounds and tea leaves. Used coffee grounds are rich in nitrogen, a vital nutrient for leafy growth. Sprinkling them around plants like lettuce or spinach can give an instant boost to soil fertility. Tea leaves, whether loose or from tea bags, also contain beneficial minerals that help enrich the soil. The Amish often mix these directly into compost piles, but they can also be worked into the soil around plants for quick improvement. 3. Eggshells. Crushed eggshells are an excellent source of calcium, which prevents problems like blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. When ground into a fine powder, eggshells release their nutrients more quickly. In addition to feeding plants, scattered shells can also help deter pests like slugs and snails, offering a dual benefit. 4. Onion and garlic skins. Often tossed away, onion and garlic skins are surprisingly rich in trace minerals and sulfur compounds that can improve soil health. When added to compost or soaked in water to create a simple, nutrient tea, these skins release elements that strengthen plants and even help repel certain pests naturally. 5. Stale bread and grains. Even old bread, rice, and oats can contribute to soil enrichment. These scraps break down quickly and feed beneficial microorganisms in the soil, which in turn improve nutrient availability for plants. The Amish sometimes bury small amounts directly into the soil to boost microbial activity. 6. Citrus peels. While best used in moderation, citrus peels add phosphorus and potassium to compost piles. Their natural oils can also deter pests. When dried and ground, they can be sprinkled sparingly around plants as a natural soil amendment, helping enrich the earth while offering mild pest control benefits. DIY irrigation hacks. Water is the lifeblood of every garden, and managing it wisely is one of the smartest ways to ensure healthy, productive crops. The Amish, known for their resourceful and frugal lifestyle, have long practiced simple irrigation methods that make the most of available water without relying on expensive systems. These techniques focus on using natural resources, repurposed materials, and clever placement to ensure plants get the right amount of moisture when they need it most. By adopting similar DIY irrigation hacks, you can save money, reduce waste, and keep your garden thriving even during dry spells. 1. Clay pot irrigation. One of the oldest and most effective irrigation tricks involves burying unglazed clay pots, known as ollas, near the base of plants. The pot is filled with water, and as the soil dries, moisture seeps slowly through the porous walls directly to the roots. This method minimizes evaporation and delivers water exactly where it's needed, making it a favorite among traditional gardeners. 2. Reused plastic bottles. Instead of discarding plastic bottles, they can be turned into simple drip irrigation systems. By poking small holes into the sides of the bottle and burying it upside down near the roots, water drips gradually into the soil. The Amish often use similar frugal approaches, repurposing everyday items to provide consistent watering without waste. 3. Rainwater collection. Capturing rainwater is another clever way to supply gardens with natural irrigation. Wooden barrels, metal tubs, or other large containers can be placed under gutters to collect water during storms. This stored water can then be directed to the garden with simple hoses or buckets. Not only does this save on water bills, but it also provides plants with fresh, untreated water that is often more beneficial than tap water. 4. Mulching for moisture retention. While not a direct irrigation method, mulching is an essential hack for conserving water. By covering soil with straw, leaves, or grass clippings, moisture is locked in and evaporation is reduced. This means less frequent watering and healthier soil structure. The Amish often rely heavily on mulch to reduce labor and ensure crops stay hydrated. 5. Gravity-fed systems. A basic yet highly effective method involves setting up elevated containers filled with water and connecting them to hoses or pipes that direct water to the garden beds. Gravity naturally pulls the water downward, creating a steady and reliable flow without the need for pumps or electricity. This simple trick is both energy efficient and easy to maintain. 6. Soaker hoses. For larger gardens, soaker hoses provide an affordable irrigation solution. These hoses release water slowly along their entire length, soaking the soil evenly around rows of plants. While modern versions exist, Amish farmers often use traditional versions made from repurposed materials, ensuring water is delivered gradually without oversaturating the soil. Frugal composting methods. Composting is one of the most valuable practices any gardener can adopt, and for the Amish, it is a cornerstone of sustainable living. Rather than purchasing commercial fertilizers or letting food and yard waste go to waste, composting transforms everyday scraps into nutrient-rich, black gold, for the soil. What makes this method especially appealing is its frugality. It costs nothing, reduces household waste, and produces a steady supply of natural fertilizer for the garden. By adopting simple composting methods, you can enrich your soil, boost plant growth, and create a sustainable cycle where nothing is wasted. 1. Traditional compost piles. The simplest and most common method is the compost pile. Amish families often designate a small area near the garden for layering food scraps, leaves, and animal manure. Over time, the materials break down naturally with the help of air, moisture, and microbes. Turning the pile occasionally speeds up the process and ensures even decomposition. 2. Composting in wooden bins. To keep things tidy and organized, composting bins made from wood or repurposed pallets are an effective option. These bins help contain the pile, retain heat, and allow for better airflow. Since the Amish are skilled at building with simple tools, wooden bins are often a practical and long-lasting solution that blends seamlessly with the garden environment. 3. Trench composting. Another frugal technique is trench composting. This involves digging a trench in the garden, filling it with kitchen scraps, and covering it with soil. Over time, the buried materials decompose directly in the ground, enriching the soil right where crops will grow. This method requires little effort and avoids the need for turning or managing a compost pile. 4. Cold versus hot composting. Cold composting is the slow and steady approach, where materials are simply piled up and left to decompose naturally over months or even a year. Hot composting, on the other hand, involves carefully balancing greens like vegetable scraps and browns like dried leaves, adding moisture, and turning regularly to create heat that speeds up decomposition. Amish gardeners often use cold composting for simplicity but may use hot methods when faster results are needed. 5. Using everyday household scraps. Almost any organic material can be added to compost, from fruit and vegetable peels to eggshells, coffee grounds, and yard clippings. Even items like shredded paper or cardboard can be included, as long as they are free of ink or chemicals. This not only provides a steady supply of compost material but also reduces household waste significantly. 6. Manure composting. In Amish communities where animals are common, manure plays a central role in composting. Cow, horse, and chicken manure are layered with straw or leaves to create a balanced, nutrient-rich compost. Once properly aged, manure compost is one of the most powerful natural fertilizers available, offering long-lasting nourishment to garden soil. Unusual plant protection methods. Protecting plants from pests, diseases, and harsh conditions is one of the greatest challenges for gardeners, and the Amish have developed clever, unusual methods that rely on natural materials rather than chemicals. These techniques may seem simple, but they are highly effective and align with a frugal, sustainable lifestyle. By combining old-fashioned wisdom with resourceful practices, these plant protection tricks keep crops safe while maintaining the natural balance of the garden. They are also easy to adapt, requiring little more than household items, farm byproducts, or natural resources that are readily available to most gardeners. 1. Soap and water spray. A surprisingly effective solution against aphids and mites is a simple mixture of soap and water. A mild, natural soap diluted in water can be sprayed directly on affected plants. The soapy coating breaks down pests, protective layers without harming the plants. Amish gardeners often prefer this method as it avoids harsh chemicals while being inexpensive and easy to prepare. 2. Garlic and chili mixture. To repel larger pests and insects, a homemade spray made from garlic and chili peppers is a powerful deterrent. These ingredients are blended, strained, and diluted with water before being sprayed on plants. The strong scent and spicy oils discourage insects and even some animals from feeding on crops, making it a natural protective shield. 3. Using ashes against insects. Wood ash, a common byproduct in Amish homes, has multiple uses in the garden. When sprinkled lightly around the base of plants, it discourages crawling insects such as slugs, snails, and beetles. The fine texture of the ash irritates pests, creating a protective barrier without the need for synthetic repellents. 4. Physical barriers from everyday items. Sometimes the most effective form of protection is a simple barrier. Amish gardeners often use mesh, cloth, or even upcycled household materials to cover plants. For instance, lightweight cloth can be draped over seedlings to shield them from insects while still allowing sunlight and rain to pass through. Old baskets or wooden crates are sometimes inverted over young plants to protect them from birds or harsh weather. 5. Companion plants as shields. Certain plants can be used to guard others by masking scents or repelling pests. Marigolds are often planted along vegetable rows to deter nematodes and harmful insects. Similarly, strong-smelling herbs like rosemary or sage can act as natural shields, keeping pests away while enhancing biodiversity in the garden. 6. Homemade traps. Another unusual but clever approach involves using homemade traps. A shallow dish filled with beer can attract and drown slugs, while sticky boards made from natural resin or honey can catch flying insects. These methods are inexpensive, simple to set up, and highly effective in reducing pest populations without disrupting the ecosystem. Seasonal planting strategies. One of the secrets to a productive and resilient garden is planting crops according to the seasons. The Amish, with their deep knowledge of the land, rely heavily on seasonal planting strategies to ensure a steady supply of fresh food throughout the year. By carefully aligning crops with the rhythms of nature, they minimize risk, conserve resources, and make the most of their garden space. This approach requires attentiveness to local climate patterns, soil conditions, and plant needs, but it pays off with healthier harvests and less reliance on outside inputs. Seasonal planting is both a science and an art, blending observation with tradition. 1. Spring planting. Spring is a time of renewal, when the soil warms and the risk of frost begins to fade. Cool season crops like lettuce, peas, radishes, and spinach thrive in this period. The Amish often plant hardy vegetables early in the season, ensuring a quick harvest before the summer heat arrives. Root crops such as carrots and beets are also ideal for spring, benefiting from the moist soil and milder temperatures. 2. Summer planting. Summer offers long days and abundant sunlight, making it perfect for warm season crops. Tomatoes, peppers, corn, cucumbers, and beans grow best during this time. The Amish carefully stagger plantings so that harvests come in waves rather than all at once, providing a continuous food supply. Mulching becomes especially important in summer, helping conserve soil moisture and protect plants from intense heat. 3. Fall planting. As the days cool, fall provides an excellent opportunity for a second round of crops. Cold-tolerant vegetables like kale, cabbage, broccoli, and turnips thrive in the crisp air. The Amish often sow these crops in late summer so they are ready to mature in autumn. Fall planting extends the growing season, giving families access to fresh produce well beyond summer's end. Some root vegetables, like parsnips, even benefit from light frost, which enhances their flavor. 4. Winter preparation. Although most gardens rest in winter, this season is far from idle. Amish gardeners prepare the soil, add compost, and cover garden beds with mulch or straw to protect them from erosion and freezing. Some also use cold frames or simple homemade greenhouses to grow hardy greens like spinach throughout the winter months. Planning during winter sets the stage for a strong start when spring arrives again. 5. Succession planting. An important part of seasonal strategy is succession planting, the practice of planting new crops as soon as one harvest ends. For example, after harvesting early lettuce, beans or carrots might be sown in the same spot. This maximizes the use of space and ensures steady production throughout the year, a principle that aligns perfectly with Amish efficiency and frugality. 6. Observing nature. Beyond calendars, the Amish also rely on natural cues to guide planting. Signs like soil temperature, blooming trees, and insect activity often indicate when it's time to plant. This close observation of nature ensures that crops are planted under the best possible conditions, reducing the need for artificial interventions and fostering a more sustainable garden. Creative use of household tools in gardening. Gardening does not always require fancy or expensive tools. In fact, many of the best solutions can be found right in your own home. The Amish are well known for their resourcefulness and frugality, often repurposing everyday household items to meet the needs of their gardens. By taking this approach, gardeners not only save money but also reduce waste and discover surprisingly effective methods of working with the soil and plants. These creative uses of household tools are practical, sustainable, and easy to apply, making gardening more accessible to everyone, no matter their budget or level of experience. 1. Kitchen utensils as garden tools. Simple items like old spoons, forks, and butter knives can serve as mini gardening tools. A sturdy spoon makes a perfect scoop for filling pots with soil or transplanting small seedlings. Forks can be used to aerate the soil in pots or loosen compacted dirt around delicate roots. Even dull knives come in handy for cutting twine, slicing open seed packets, or removing weeds in tight spaces. 2. Buckets and jars for watering and storage. Empty plastic buckets or glass jars can easily be repurposed in the garden. Buckets are excellent for carrying compost, soil, or harvested vegetables, while jars can be used to protect young seedlings from pests when placed upside down over them. Some gardeners poke small holes in lids to turn jars or jugs into simple watering cans, giving plants a gentle shower without the need for a store-bought sprinkler. 3. Clothing and fabric for plant care. Old t-shirts, pillowcases, or bed sheets are never wasted in a frugal garden. They can be cut into strips to create soft plant ties, perfect for supporting tomatoes, beans, or climbing cucumbers. Larger fabric pieces can also serve as protective coverings for plants during sudden cold spells or intense sun, helping to regulate temperature without requiring special garden cloth. 4. Reusing cans, bottles, and containers. Tin cans, plastic bottles, and yogurt cups are excellent for starting seeds or protecting fragile plants. By cutting the bottoms off bottles, gardeners can create protective collars that keep pests like cutworms away. Larger containers can be transformed into makeshift planters, especially useful for growing herbs or small vegetables in tight spaces. Amish gardens often feature rows of repurposed containers, showing that beauty and functionality can go hand in hand. 5. Tools for soil and pest management. Household tools like brooms, mops, or even old toothbrushes find a second life in gardening. Broom handles can become stakes for supporting plants, while the bristles of old brushes are great for cleaning pots or scrubbing away insect eggs on leaves. Even kitchen strainers or sieves are handy for sifting compost or soil, ensuring a fine texture for seed starting. 6. Frugality meets ingenuity. The Amish way of gardening emphasizes using what is at hand instead of seeking what is new. Every household tool has the potential to serve multiple purposes, and by applying a little creativity, one can discover countless uses for items that might otherwise be thrown away. This not only saves money but also fosters a deeper connection to the land and the gardening process itself. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Smart Frugal Living for more simple, practical, and money-saving gardening ideas. Hit the bell so you never miss a new tip that could transform the way you grow and live frugally.